Today on Locked On Rockies, the Mets get their revenge as they win the series against the Rockies as they have one more shot to avoid their second 7-game losing streak of the season.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 7th day of May in the year 2026. I am your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And if your team is the Colorado Rockies, guess what? You're in the right spot, because that's what we do around here, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what is on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. Today, we're diving into the Rockies' 10-5 loss against the Mets. As unfortunately, we are now in a different spot than we were a week ago, as the Rockies have kind of fallen off on that momentum that they were building and all that rebel rousing we were doing, myself included, about power rankings and stuff like that, as the Rockies now have dropped their 6th game in a row. And plus, listen, we got to give a shout out to the fact that a baseball game was even played in Colorado after the weather there as well. We'll be diving into all that and more, but thank you again for making us your first listen of the day. I am, of course, Paul Holden, your Rockies fan extraordinaire, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk, as I have for over 6 seasons now. That's hundreds of episodes of the Locked On Rockies podcast, going through the good, the bad, the ugly, all with you, the Rockies fans. And file this one under the ugly category, as this is a Mets team struggling across the board, a Mets team that we saw, is bottom of the barrel when it comes to offense, a team that the Rockies just were successful against, and it's been a regrettable, albeit very weird with the weather series here, and unfortunately, we're seeing I think it's going to feel like a coin toss, I think, here for Michael Lorenzen almost every time that he steps up to pitch here. This was, according to the numbers here, this was the second most earned runs allowed by Michael Lorenzen in a start this season. The start against the Phillies, where he only went 3, is the problem, or the main issue, I should say. In this one, over the 5 innings pitched, he allows 7 earned runs, 2 strikeouts to 3 walks. He also gives up 11 hits in this one. And while that's an ugly pitching line, it could have gotten into a little bit more of a back and forth affair. He was able to avoid damage, really throughout, big damage, I should say, throughout most of the innings there, having scoreless 2nd, 3rd, and 5th inning there, but 3 spot in the 4th, and of course the Juan Soto setting the tone leadoff home run on the game. But Lorenzen's gonna have to start cutting into some of these runs. He's gonna have to start cutting into some of this this damage he's allowing. He's not. It's like I said, the coin flip type of thing in the game against Cincinnati. 5 1/3, 4 hits, 4 runs. 4 of them earned 2 home runs with the 5 strikeouts. He, of course, the last time he went against the Mets, dominated them in his best start of the year with 7 innings pitched, 7 hits in that time with only 1 earned run allowed. But now here, Lorenzen in his starts this year has allowed 4 earned runs or more in only 4 of his starts. Actually, I believe the only 3 of his starts when you include this one. So it's not too bad, but now back-to-back performances of 4 earned runs, 7 earned runs, and in the last 5, we're seeing the 3 earned runs against the Dodgers and the 2 earned runs against the Astros, in which he got chased pretty early as well, 2 2/3 there. So it's not the worst lines. There's still obviously plenty of performances in here that have been totally serviceable and have been exactly what the Rockies are looking for. But I just worry a little bit. I just worry that he's the one that is showing a little bit more of the ability to get hit than the other Rockies starters here. As it seems to be around 7 hits is kind of the norm for most of his starts now. He's had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 starts in this season, and he has allowed 7 hits or more in 5 of those starts. Actually, I believe 9 starts with tonight. So 5 starts out of his 9, he's allowed the 7 hits. Hasn't always done the damage, but it's still, they're getting runners on. There's getting those opportunities, especially when you sprinkle in a couple of walks here and there as well. He had 3 walks against the Reds in his last appearance, and then in this game against the Mets here, 3 walks as well. The walks are going to really, really be costly when you're giving up as many hits as Michael Lorenzen is. It's again, it wasn't a full blown nightmare there until things started unraveling in the 6th inning for the Rockies. Great to see the Rockies be able to bounce back and get some offense going, but it wasn't just the Michael Lorenzen. The offense itself wasn't great, and Agnos, another 3 earned runs allowed from him as his ERA is up at 6.35. This is a game, and this has been a series, and this losing streak has kind of has sent the Rockies back to reality where we were. We were talking the big game, talking about this team being, how different it is, and it is still a different team. But the issues, the problems, the talent gap, and the concerns with the squad are still all very much there. It's still far from perfect here, and this is a pretty disappointing response to have a team like the Mets roll in here, and now the Rockies are 1 win or 1 loss away from back-to-back sweeps at home after they just went 4-2 on the road the week prior. It just goes to show how quickly and how fast things can change for the Colorado Rockies. And this is what's a shame here about this one too is there was plenty of opportunity for the Rockies to chip away to get back in this one. Great to see that big bottom of the 6th inning, sure, and the fact that they were able to get some runners in scoring position in the as well. But the Mets only had 2 more hits than the Rockies in this one, and the Rockies did give up a run due to the throwing error on the transfer of what should have been a double play. But when you have 13 hits, especially at home, you got to cash in. 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position, and again, Ezekiel Tovar 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Beck 0 for 1. TJ Rumfield had 1 for 2. Kyle Karros 0 for 3. These guys, the Rockies need that big clutch hit when it comes to especially multiple guys on base, as they continue to not have that big multi-run home run yet, the 3-run shot and the grand slam. But this is just one of those ones. This series just kind of puts you back into that. Hey, this reminds you that the Rockies still have a lot of work left to do. And let's dive into that a little bit more and keep breaking down this really bummer of a loss and just bummer of a series here as well for the Rockies. Coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Indeed sponsored jobs, workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, skills, experience, location, so you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's the stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on the Locked On Rockies podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions do apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Back at it here, segment number 2 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Don't forget, you can get the show ad-free. You can hang out in the Everydayer Club Discord server for $5 a month, $50 a year. When you head on over to LockedOnRockies.supercast.com, that's LockedOnRockies.supercast.com to check out the Everydayer Club or check out the link in the show notes below. This one, and again, this is one of those things that I was talking about here, and why this one falls into the frustrating ones is this is still a Mets team that hasn't fully rebounded yet. This is still a Mets team that's looking to find its footing, and the Rockies were able to navigate some challenges, but it's just continues to just draw and drain the lack of the big clutch hitting and the lack of the big bat in the lineup here. 8 strikeouts from the Rockies in this one, 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position. And I know I harp on it all the time, but it's Coors Field and the Rockies' identity is just too far tied up in that offense. And I'm still just waiting to see that breakout from the Rockies guys that we've talked a lot about. It's getting slowly better with Ezequiel Tovar. It looks like the at bat he had, I think it was his last at bat or his second to last at bat, where it was like a 10 pitch at bat. I believe the broadcast was saying his longest at bat of the season. It's chipping away. I hope that this is it sucks that the Rockies are on another 6-game losing streak and approaching their second 7-game losing streak, and we're not even into the middle of May yet here of the season. But hopefully this is just one of those weeks where it is just kind of grinded out and the adjustments are being made and the breakout is coming, because there are still way too many. We're still waiting for big moments from guys that are far too important. Beck gets the pinch hit, but unable to capitalize there. And the Rockies punching out there at the end of the ball game here. This offense, it's just, especially when I hate to always compare, but you saw the machine that is Atlanta just there, and then you have this team in the Mets that are struggling. By the way, the Mets and the Rockies now tied in wins on the year. Something's got to give here. This and hopefully it's just the bad stretch. But man, it is still. This is just one of those ones where it is just disheartening to see. With some exceptions here as well. TJ Rumfield, a 3-hit day, and Freeman with a 2-hit day, Johnston with a 2-hit day. Karros does pick up a hit. McCarthy gets his first home run as a member of the Rockies, and a really great response moment there. Again, and cutting into the lead right there was 8-4 at that point. You cut the lead in half. You were giving yourself some time, and then after that, setting things up. They got to just keep rolling. It's just this continued, what has felt like years and years and years of just it is not consistent. The Rockies are the offense is streaky, the pitching is streaky. It's one side does their job and the other doesn't, and it just not enough of putting together those complete ball games here. But again, I think one thing though, the acquisitions and the moves that the Rockies made when it comes to adding some of the members of this batting order and of this offense are paying off so far. It's just a really, really big bummer that the Rockies are getting nothing from Tovar, and their Rockies all-star is one of the guys that strikes out at the highest rate in baseball. I just, that's where it's just until things like we talked about a lot this week, until these guys get going, these types of stretches are going to be really difficult to avoid here. And it's just tough to see that the Rockies are getting these guys up in crucial situations, especially a guy like Ezekiel Tovar, and you're just not getting any sort of the results that you need. And so hopefully the breakout is coming. Hopefully the whatever the Rockies need in order to start figuring this out, because there's when they get rolling, and this was shown in that 4-run inning, this was shown in the 9th inning a little bit. The Rockies can stack things up. They have guys that will jump on some pitches and slap out some singles, or get themselves in on base, or in a position to steal a base, or something like that. But then it's just watching guys go down on strikes, going on down on strikes, looking. It just doesn't feel like the Rockies really put that feeling of, oh man, they're going to cash in here. Unfortunately, when I'm watching the games and when I'm watching this offense, I don't sit there and feel overly confident that the Rockies are going to be able to land that big blow, land that big punch, be able to really cash in and do the damage here, because they're a team that's they can't get the bat off their shoulders, and they'll strike out, or they'll go and strike out. Or it's a pop-up weakly hit ground ball. There are quality at bats. There's good stuff happening with this Rockies offense, but there's just no clutch here. There's just not enough of that, of someone being able to really be that guy that the Rockies have been able to turn to, with the exception of some guys that have been somewhat successful with runners in scoring position. But man, it's unsustainable, the way the Rockies offense is rolling here. And again, it's just something's got to give when you're going consistently, really missing out. They're on with runners in scoring position. Another 3 for 13, going 1 for 10, XYZ. It's just a really tough spot for the Rockies offense to be in, because they're the guys that we weren't expecting or didn't have expectations for are performing and doing what we need to do. And the guys that we did have the expectations for, the guys that we needed to see that take that step forward, haven't done so yet. And this game and the way this one played out is just basically that same treadmill that the Rockies have been on. It's the same situation that the Rockies have been facing for a while now. It's just they do not have enough offensive firepower to keep up in these shootouts, and they don't have enough of that clutch offensive firepower to keep up here, because the Mets now have outscored the Rockies 14-7 over a course of these two games, after the Rockies went on the road and shut them out and held them to 1 run in what was that, 1 run in 2 games there in the doubleheader, 4 runs in the entire series last time. It's too hot and cold. It always has been for the Rockies. They don't. There's not a lot of the middle. Baseball is very streaky. I understand that, and hopefully the Rockies will nip this one in the bud, and they'll go out and have another strong. They'll have a solid road trip and be able to start moving things back in the right direction here. But we talked about this throughout the season here, and especially when we're talking about how to avoid the 100 losses, how to keep the Rockies afloat or in a better spot, and it's to avoid these nasty stretches. And the Rockies have been unable to do so here. The Rockies have had now, this is the second losing streak of 6 games, and they are. Did I have my math wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, okay. So it was they have not had the 7-game losing streak yet. I had miscalculated. So second 6-game losing streak of the season. I had miscounted there before. It's just these are killers. It just seems so. It's so tough, especially when we're talking about, again, a week ago. Oh, Rockies need to be changing in the power rankings. Rockies just did this against the Dodgers. Rockies just split the series against the Dodgers and had a chance to take that series against San Diego, and then they swept the Mets, and but then falls apart. They've had two very similar stretches though when it comes to the 7 losses, losing 7 of 8 ball games there. Let's see if the Rockies are able to bounce back and do what they did the last time they did that, which was win a couple of ball games and put together a nice solid week of baseball. My main point is just that it's just this team is still looking for that consistency. It's still looking for the breakout from key guys, and it's just still looking for them to take that next step. They showed in the first month and the first month of the season that they are a more competitive team in a better spot. That was step 1. What is step 2 now for the Rockies? How do we move on from that? How do we move on from, all right, just being competitive, just being in games is good enough to, all right, you guys need to go out. The expectation should be that you guys are winning these games. The expectation should be that when a struggling team like the Mets comes into Coors Field, you should be beating them. You should not be losing the games where you have 13 hits. You should not be so unsuccessful with runners in scoring position, especially at home. I'm glad that the Rockies have been in the better spot. I'm glad that we've gotten some improved performances from pitchers and things are looking better there. But there is still a lot to show from this Rockies offense, and I'm still interested to see what step 2 will be, because it'd be really great to start seeing what this Rockies offense can look like when its core players and the guys that we have those expectations for can start performing up to the expectations that we have. And if the Rockies that have performed well to start off the year on offense, can they maintain and can they continue it through the full season? We're talking, the Julians, the Rumfields, the Johnstons. Can these guys keep maintaining their success here throughout the rest of the season? Time will tell. There's still obviously a lot of time left. We're still here in the first 40 games of the season. The Rockies can still chip away to make things, get themselves back into a better spot. But it's going to be a tough road trip coming up here. The Phillies, obviously, after firing their manager, they're going to be in a better spot. In Pittsburgh, a team that's been arguably one of the biggest surprises of the season, is waiting up next, including a date with Paul Skeens. Let's talk about that and the pitching matchup for the finale against the Mets coming up next. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Gametime. Baseball is back, and you want to get into the ballpark, right? But maybe you're like, oh gosh, I don't know. The prices, this, that, what's going on today? Are we gonna be worried? Or am I gonna be able to get the right tickets? Am I gonna be able to get a ticket in the spot that I want? Well, guess what? Gametime's got you covered, because the Gametime app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's simple to use. The Gametime guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. So not only are you getting that authentic ticket guarantee, you're getting those fees up front so you know the price that you're going to pay. You're also going to get a view from your seat. So you're going to have the utmost confidence when you buy your tickets, knowing you got the right spot for the right price, and you're going to have a blast at the ballpark. 2 taps and it's done. No stress, no hidden fees, just great seats and minutes. That's what makes it so easy to decide last minute to go to games. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Rockies look to avoid the sweep here and pick up their first win in the month of May. The Rockies have not won since April 29th. Boy, does that feel like a long time ago with all the delays and everything like that. One of the talking points that you'll see from this game as well is that the Rockies had their lowest paid attendance in franchise history. I was like 11,000 something people. And just remember, though, when you are going that, as the Rockies, though, have done this a few times, attendance will be impacted this year, especially in the beginning parts of the season before the summer really gets rolling. That has already been clear, because I think this is now the 3rd time this season the Rockies have broke that record of lowest attendance. But the Rockies had, there was a bunch of snow on the ground. There was the massive snowstorm that rolled through there. And we got to give a tip of the cap to the grounds crew, folks. the fact that that field looked as good as it did, was as playable as it did, was the fact that the Rockies were able to even get out there and get this game going on. Shout outs to the fans that did go as well. There is a legit argument that the Rockies ground crew is the best in baseball, as long has been believed, especially when you're talking about who else deals with as many crazy things as the Rockies ground crew. Now, some other teams deal with a lot more rain, certainly, but not as much snow and rain and rapidly changing weather conditions and things like that. It was really cool to see some of the behind the scenes stuff that they shared about getting the ballpark ready. I know that's not groundbreaking analysis, but that was it's pretty amazing to see, and it always reminds me of shoveling. That's spring ball. I'm sure a lot of spring baseballers out there were shoveling their home fields and such, trying to keep things moving as quickly as possible through their spring seasons. I guess school is ending earlier than I know it, so maybe the school year is already wrapping up. I don't know. Some of my friends from my college were telling me that their things are already done there, and it's not even the end of April when they were finishing up. But so shout outs to the Rockies grounds crew out there, and really cool to see. Like I said, that behind the scenes stuff as they got the field ready to play. As it looked, by the time it was the storm rolled through, there was some sunshine for a bit, and it looked like a nice day at Coors Field there. But I know it was cold, so shout outs to all the Rockies fans that ended up staying for the whole time. But unfortunately, the Mets fans were the louder ones in the ballpark this time. No surprise there. Christian Scott is taking on Jose Quintana tomorrow. Christian Scott has a 0-0 record here. He's pitched 6 1/3, 4.26 ERA with a whip of 1.26. In that 6 1/3, he struck out 9, 5 walks and a homer, 3 hits in that time as well. So of course, the Rockies and the secret sauce here will be, cut out the K's, get out there and get after a guy that has made 2 appearances so far. It's a tale of 2 starts, or 2 appearances really for him. First appearance of the season, he went 1 inning and a third, allowed an earned run with 5 walks and a strikeout. And then his second appearance, he went 5 strong innings against the Angels, only 3 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, but striking out 8 in that time. The Rockies will turn to Jose Quintana, who is 1-2 with the 4.07 ERA, a 1.36 whip. 22 hits allowed in 24 1/3 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts there, 11 walks and 5 home runs. The Rockies, it would be great to get keep the damage minimal from the Rockies starters here. The Rockies starters being so great on the road was big reason why the Rockies were so successful. They have not been as good here in this homestand, and Jose Quintana looks to be the Rockies' last hope before they head to the road to take on Philly, who will be going into Thursday with a 4-game winning streak, and then Pittsburgh. Shocker that I'm actually sitting here saying, wow, watch out for Pittsburgh here. But they have been very, very good to start the year. And one of the matchups the Rockies will see is Skeens. So we'll see how the Rockies will handle that. And we'll see if the Rockies can avoid the sweep. We'll react and break it all down here on Locked On Rockies for our Friday episode. But folks, that is going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for making Locked On Rockies your first listen of the day. For your second listen, go check out Locked On MLB and all the great shows we have there. Back to the Bullpen, the MLB Game Night Show, and, of course, Locked On MLB. We got you covered with Locked On Broncos, Avalanche, Nuggets, and Buffs, all free and streaming as well. And until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.